Are you challenged in staying consistent in your matches? If you are, this video is exactly for you. You'll get concrete tips on becoming as consistent as Kento Momota on his best days. And today, I've brought a guest with me, Emil Dantler, ambitious young player, new ambassador for Basic Feather, and also hopefully future Olympian. Welcome, Emil.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I actually look forward a lot to this topic because I struggle with that quite a lot as well. I think everybody does. So enjoy the video. Before we start, remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment with whatever you guys want us to work on next.
Emil, let me start by asking you, what is your #1 tip in staying consistent in matches?
For me personally, I always like to think less is more. So instead of trying to always go for the lines, go for the tight net spin, maybe sometimes have a bit of margin in it so you can just get less own mistakes, because if you do less own mistakes, then the opponent will. Now, Flemming, is that something you also used in your career?
100%, especially in the beginning of the matches, because I think that is where you tend to do easy mistakes, that you start too ambitious going for the sidelines, as you mentioned. Definitely. So especially when you start matches, try with that safety margin. So that's a really good tip.
Did you have some, for you personal, that you used like even more, your #1?
Yeah, I think another thing that I used to do a lot, or got better at, I would say, in my career, is never taking half chances. So when you're kind of out of balance, you somewhat feel that you have an opportunity to play the big smash maybe, but you don't really, but you still go for it. That's exactly where you do these easy mistakes, and it just breaks your own rhythm. So these half chances, I think you should just play another shot, take another choice, playing a safer shot so you can always get into a better position before you go for the win.
Now that you say it, I can definitely relate to that. I often have it, especially in a pressure situation, maybe 19-0 in the third set, and then you go for a big smash, but just before you hit it, you think, should I really go for it? I'm a bit out of balance. And as soon as you think that, the mistake is going to come.
You almost want it too much,
right? You want it too much, and then you have doubt, and then as soon as you have doubt, then it's not going to work out.
Nice. On the mental side, is there anything that you would recommend our viewers to focus on?
For me personally, I always like to focus on my language with myself. So while I'm playing, I try to don't use words like don't or not or do not play this. Because if I tell myself, do not play this cross stick smash, in the next second I'm gonna play that one. So I really focus on having positive language, saying, do this, play this clear, play this drive in this situation, and through that, I'm automatically gonna create better chances and use my chances better.
Yeah. And when do you do that? Is that between your rallies or while you're playing?
Definitely in between. Usually while I'm playing, like while the rally is going on, I try to not have too many thoughts. Of course, sometimes I think, okay, now you have to finish it. But usually I try to just, in between the rallies, also when I talk with my coach in between the rallies, to use that kind of language to just be ready for the next rally.
I think that's a really important tip, focusing on the mental part as well, because
Definitely.
that's just as important as everything else on the court.
And then Flemming, how is it for you? Is the mental part, was that also one of the most important for you, or was it some different part?
Yeah, I think the mental part is of course super important, but for me I also think you need the basics right to be able to handle the mental part. And when I say basics, it's a lot about the footwork. So I need to get my footwork right, to how to move around the corners and keeping relaxed, maybe staying low in my defense. But all these things needs to be in place so I can focus on some of the positive language, because if I don't know how to move to a certain corner or struggle with that, I need to work on that before I can get on to the next level.
Building it up.
Exactly,
step by
exactly.
step,
So I think that getting the basics right is a really key thing, both on the footwork side, but also on the technical side. So you know how to play a good clear, how to play a good lift, these things.
For sure.
We've talked about a lot of good stuff now. And you said in the beginning of the video that you were also struggling staying consistent in your entire matches.
Yeah.
So could you give us like, how are you practicing this on a daily basis?
Yeah, for me on a daily basis, it's just very important to keep reminding me of my focus points. So I really have these focus points written down in my phone or as a reminder or something. And then in each practice, it doesn't matter which exercise you do, it doesn't matter if it's multi, if it's a 2 against 1, 1 against 1. It's important to keep coming back to those points. And if you do that in a training, it will automatically also be more natural in a match, and you will succeed more in a match automatically.
So is one of your key takeaways when I hear this is actually we want to focus on staying consistent in a match, but to stay consistent in a match, you need to stay consistent in your practice.
Definitely. If you're not consistent in your practice, the chances of you being consistent in a match is slight to none, I would say.
I think we've reached the end of the video. I think we got through some good discussion points on how to stay consistent in matches. So there's only one thing to say. Thank you to Emil for joining the video.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching. And remember, the court is a canvas for a journey.